In episode 10, we'll be discussing 800 horsepower electric daily drivers
How to respect your girlfriend's parents.
and how you can lower your car by only using cable ties. This is on the overrun. This is a massive episode. This is a momentous occasion.
It's a special episode that we're doing today, I must say.
And I mean, usually, of course, set the bar low, no expectation.
No expectations.
But it's the 10th episode. I mean, you know, well done to us. Well, thank you for you watching.
To all the OGs.
All the dream team, the day ones.
The day ones.
Thank you for you. Thank you for
Still working on t-shirts, don't worry.
Yes. Also, you might get a complimentary beard oil, but the Land Rover is still alright. The Rana is not on his wheels, but
story for another time.
yeah, unfortunately, the Rana is not going well. But Luke, firstly, welcome.
Thank you, Martin.
Nice having you here.
Yeah.
This is on the overrun, as you would know already. I'm your host.
I'm hoping
Martin
you would know already.
Yeah, I'm your host, Martin. He is my co-host, Luke. And we chat about cars. We chat about people around the cars. We chat about interesting stuff about cars. New cars, old cars, fancy cars, not so known cars. That might be forecasting for later in the episode. I don't know. May or not.
Maybe
we rate cars. We look at cool cars. We rave about
really
cars.
bad advice about first cars.
Yeah, not anything to go by, you know. Not advice to be taken, not recommendations to be taken to heart. We just chat about everything, fun about cars, try and enlighten you in the world of cars. Get you interested in why it's actually so special. Well, I mean, there are some people who are really crazily obsessed about cars. And I wouldn't say we are super obsessed. We are very passionate.
We're passionate.
But of course, there's a reason why we are. So we want to, you know, give you a glimpse of why there is such an interest in cars worldwide.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the big thing.
So today
we'll... and getting the right people connected.
What are we going to do today, by the way?
Today, we're going to discuss a bit of news and cars that have been released. And
just touching on that.
Touching quickly on that. And then we're heading into the do's and don'ts of certain car things, if I can
modifications.
Put it like. Yeah, specifically modifications.
The do's and don'ts. We want to give you advice.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that you can't quote us by.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Use or abuse, I don't know. I don't care what you do with that, but it might be interesting segments, so stick along for that. And there's also another one we might be discussing if we have the time.
We'll get to that and see maybe if we...
some interesting, some unidentified foreign cars.
Unidentified, not so...
commonly seen.
There we go. Yes. Yeah. Unseen. Not a lot of people know of them. That kind of thing. And
yet again,
if all goes well, we'll do the classic PT Cruiser.
The classic PT Cruiser, always to end it off. Yes. So thank you. Welcome. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Grab a coffee. Pour some cereal in. I don't know what your like a snack is.
In now, but
this is morning where we are.
I hope you don't eat cereal in the car. So it's not going to work.
Yeah, unless it's leather seats, that would be fine.
Yeah, then it's
I believe in leather seats is manageable in terms of cleaning and such.
Just take a cloth in.
So interesting thing I found out this week. Of course, you know I drive my mother's Polo. It's a 2005 2-liter 4-cylinder naturally aspirated. That was actually the engine that was in the Golf 3 GTI. And believe me, it's not a GTI engine. It doesn't rev very freely. The sound is not amazing. That's why Golf...
But it's got cruise control.
It's got 2005, I'm telling you. It's ahead of its time. But yeah, that's why Volkswagen decided to put in a VR6 in the Golf 3 because the GTI wasn't what the people expected. But anyway, not important. Let's I think it's time for the obligatory news segment because
we haven't done one in a while.
It's been some time when last time. I mean, I can't remember last time we were together for an episode.
About 3 or 4 episodes back.
Yeah, it's been some time, so it's necessary that we go quickly through a few news segments. Now, of course, at the end of this segment, you'll be like, "Oh, come on, there is common stuff you have missed," and I know, but. We unfortunately can't chat about everything.
About everything, we'll be here for 3 hours, and you guys will never watch this in anyway. So
I don't want to be here for 3 hours.
No, we don't like each other that much.
So I'll start us off. Interesting enough. So last week or 2 weeks before, I don't even know. The Maserati MC20 was released. So Maserati has teased this car for some time now. Their supercar coming out. You know, their special supercar, just paving a way for new Maseratis ahead. for Maserati as a brand, just doing things differently. Interesting fact about these cars, or about the MC20, mid-engine supercar, 3-liter twin-turbo V6, as you would find in something like a 4GT. Interesting enough, this engine called the Nettuno. Yeah, it's called the Nettuno, is actually the most power-dense V6 on the market. It's definitely class leading. It's something like power to weight ratio is 2.3 kilograms per horsepower. So I can't convert in any other way. That is what I found online. But just know that it's the most power dense V6. If I'm right, I think I'm right.
GTR still sounds better.
Yeah, the thing is, I was thinking of this car, and other car manufacturers also implementing V6s. And I was thinking of 4GT. That's the first thing that came up in my mind.
With a new V6.
Now, the 4GT, I know this car is going to be quite expensive. The 4GT is still more expensive. But,
wow. Okay.
Yeah. No, the 4GT is because it's like very limited run, and the exclusivity thereof Ford usually
and also like all the iconicness of this car being carrying through the ages.
Yeah, the heritage, So, this car... with the power it has, 463 kilowatts, 730 newton meters of torque, is quite a powerful car. With the power it has, it's probably going to compete with your McLaren 675 LT, so like oldish car. 4GT has been released a few years ago. I really feel for Maserati, because I feel this car could have been much more. But unfortunately, they have to comply to whatever Ferrari says. Like, Italy is this massive like consolidated car manufacturers where, it's Fiat, it's Alfa, it's Maserati, it's Ferrari.
You have to work into the system. And
I was just thinking of I don't know if you remember the Maserati MC12, but this was the sister car to the Ferrari Enzo.
Yes.
And it couldn't be better, it couldn't be faster than the Ferrari Enzo, because the Enzo had to be the
Number
pinnacle.
one. Yeah.
It had to be the best supercar in Italy, you know. So this car, it can't be the best it could have been. I believe Maserati did a good job with it. It looks very good. Sounds like a 4GT, to be honest. I was thinking of the Giulia engine also.
Yeah.
This may be in some way, it's a bit more power, but in some way it should be relatable. They said it's from ground up new. But really? It doesn't really excite me as much, and that's why I said, of course, Maserati has to conform to the norms of
what Italy
Ferrari,
says for them.
But I mean, nothing super special about this car. Like, it's a very good supercar.
It looks good and it does what it's supposed to do, but it's not gonna.
So
it's making me think of a catfish that girl.
No, but it does look good. I saw the launch of the car, and they put on a massive show. Massive show. These like very old cool Maseratis lined up in front. A lot of Maseratis here. Of course, social distancing in the back where the press was sitting, but very cool release. But Maserati released a new supercar. I really hope for them that it paves a new way.
Yeah.
The Gran Turismo, the Ghibli, the Quattroporte, those are really old cars and nothing to get excited about except for the sound. So hopefully this does something new for the brand.
Get them back into the...
What do you have, us?
I'm taking it back a bit, but still sticking to V6s. 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 It's the new 400Z Nissan released. Very excited. The car looks stunning. I mean, going from the update of the old roundish shape from the 370Z, which was the last one, and now the 400Z. Is
this still a prototype, or is this?
There's expected. I think it's in 2021 where they expect for deliveries and stuff to come through.
But is this car that we saw now, is this production ready?
I don't think so. No, it's still it's referred to as the proto concept, so I assume it might change a bit. Yeah. There is obviously they've tested it and done all the things with this car, but I think it might change a bit.
You could say it's quite an accurate representation of what it might become.
Exactly.
And it looks good.
It looks great. I mean, it's fantastic. I absolutely love it. It's, again, small pocket rocket and stuff, and it's going to boost up with this new. It's going to take it, instead of competing, let's say, with an MX-5 or in the classes, it'll directly compete with the Supra and the BMW. Z4 and stuff like that. So it's going up to a new level. It has a twin turbocharged V6 engine, 3 liter, 300 brake horsepower, and then the Nismo, there will be a Nismo as well, which is great stuff. We'll have about 400.
As with the 370Z too.
Exactly, yeah. We'll have 400 horsepower. So that's not bad at all. It's not the 560 horsepower from the V6 in the GTR, but it's still it's not meant to be. It's not meant to be the GTR. Manual, as far as
it looks
manual,
small. It looks like it's going to be light.
6-speed manual. It's just a great little car. Great new design. I think Nissan completely nailed this. It's not. It's going to be a bit more expensive. Obviously, it'll start probably at the same price. There's estimates. The prices haven't been released yet, but the estimates are probably will start at what the 370Z costs, and then they'll go up from that because there's new infotainment and other luxuries. The whole
necessary upgrades.
It's updated and upgraded. Infotainment, touchscreens, and everything else.
The 370Z is it's quite an old car now.
Yeah, it's dated a bit. So
so I believe just looking at this car and what it promises to bring, it's definitely going to attract new customers. Like the 370Z, it was interesting when it came out, but it just doesn't entice anyone now. It's just not as interesting as it could be these days.
Exactly,
so it's about time that Nissan, updated this little sports car of them.
That they have,
So I really hope they crush it. I believe it will definitely bring new customers just looking at it.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see. But on the other spectrum of small sports cars, so this is in a similar line in terms of this is still a prototype, but this is a Hyundai and Rimac collaboration.
Oh wow!
And it's called the RM20E. So Hyundai and Rimac collaborated, basically developing I wouldn't say mid-engine Velociter looking thing. It's more Velociter chassis, very race car, rally car-ish, massive diffuser, big wing, wild looks, massive fenders. It's common of a, I was thinking of the Yaris rally car also.
Yeah, and the GR as well, the new.
And the GR, So this car, as I said, still a prototype, but this is where Hyundai is aiming to go. So 810 horsepower to the rear wheels, 708 pound-feet of torque, which is, I would guess, somewhere around 900. Probably wrong, but still a lot of torque, electric motors. So this is fully electric, and I believe that Hyundai, of course, they are planning to, in some time, bring out a supercar, and this is just them, playing and trying, and fiddling here around, just trying to see what they can do. Definitely learning from other brands also.
Yes.
Electric is not just the future; it's what brands are focusing on now.
Yeah.
Massive R&D amounts are being spent on electric, drivetrains and vehicles and motors. So. But we spoke about brand collaborations earlier in a few podcasts back. But when you team up with a brand like Rimac to, work on the electric side of your brand, there is nothing wrong with it, because Hyundai doesn't necessarily have the infrastructure or the expertise, knowledge already to be able to focusing on electric. So, grabbing Rimac and saying, hey, let's see what we can do. Like, it's going to be something insane.
I think Hyundai, they've done like big things. They've got a ton of new cars coming out, concepts and stuff, pickup trucks, sedans, small cars. They are really, they're making big steps in the market. So
excited for them.
I think the i30N was the start of what they could probably do in getting themselves back, because they used to, for a few years, I would say, people just associated them with family comfort and stuff like that, and now they're like, no, we make your tummy tickle. Exactly.
Yeah. So interesting enough, the i30N actually released a facelift a few weeks prior, but the main focus being, of course, the i30N initially solely came out with a manual, and now it actually has a dual clutch, which
that's big. That it just sounds like fun.
I think it's great. I think it's really great. The manual is very driver involving, and I I think it's a very good starting point for the i30N. Hyundai says, listen, this is for driving pleasure. This is for driver involvement. This is a driver's car, but now with the dual clutch, it just adds another, almost a new customer base to this already great car. The Veloster N is already released some time ago. They are working on i20N also. So the N, the N brand, which is equivalent to AMG or M of BMW, if you are not familiar with Hyundai's N segment. But they are doing the most. They're doing the work, and they're really trying to bring Hyundai up to the level and the vision that they have in terms of sportiness for their brand.
No, they're doing good. I think it's gonna be. You should keep an eye out for Hyundai. They're gonna do something big.
Just interesting. I want to mention. I read on an article in Top Gear that they did with this car, and they asked Hyundai a few questions, of course, and they replied on one, basically summing up the car, and it says the RM20E combines race car-like levels of performance, balance, braking, and grip, while retaining daily driver quietness, responsiveness, and road-going capability. So, yes, this car is not going to just entice you on the back roads, but it's going to do your shopping routes. It's going to pick up your son from school.
Just stick some cotton wool in your ears, and then you've got the daily driver quietness.
And not because of the sound, but because of the clinging and the clacking and the screeching and, the rocks hitting
when you go
the
80
fenders.
k's an hour around a bend and you kick out your rear end and sliding and everything like that. Those noises.
It won't
from
be an
daily
engine.
driving.
It's just everything else.
Driver capability.
That gets pronounced.
Speaking of driver capability and cars that have been struggling in certain aspects of capability, I'm specifically referring to launch control in a set brand from Germany that has suffered for a while. They've released the new, updated, very controversial BMW M3 and M4, both in standard and in competition. And the reason I'm saying the launch control is because if you watch some videos of BMWs launching, I promise you at least 50% of them will have failed launches because the launch control system just loses its
very
mind.
Inconsistent.
So let's hope that this is a bit better in these new models. Obviously the first thing with these cars, it's the grille. The grille is
like
hectic.
since the new 4 Series was released, this was already a talking point to many.
Yeah, and now when they've actually done it and gone from the concept and said we are sticking with this, it makes me think a bit as well. We were discussing in one of the previous podcasts the M1 homage with that those kidneys in the front, but they were a little smaller. These are huge. I mean, it covers from the bonnet all the way down to the bottom of the car. It's absolutely massive, and I think the M4 looks a bit better than the M3. The M3 I think just needed to be a bit wider, and then it would have made more sense because these kidneys are just a bit out of proportion. But like all cars that come out and people dislike, it'll grow on us, I think, and it'll become better. I'm already liking the M4. I'm not such a fan yet of the M3, but anyway, we'll see when we get there. It's not like I'm going to buy one in the next few years in any way. They both.
What do you mean? Podcast is booming. I'm joking.
Maybe.
I'm joking. If you want to sponsor us, overrunbrand@gmail.com.
Yeah, exactly. We'll put a link in the description below. Don't worry.
And
up here. They'll be released with twin turbocharged 3-liter inline 6 engines,
as they usually do.
473 horsepower, and then for the competition you get the power upgrade to 503 horsepower. Updated interior,
which is something like 60 horsepower, which is like 40 or something kilowatt increase from the previous M3 comp. Which is a good increase. The C63 already had over 500 horsepower for the current generation. BMW just had to get into the same market there. Updated interior looks absolutely stunning, carbon fiber everywhere. And an interesting thing that they've done now as well, it's the first time I've seen this, maybe it's been on for a while, but it's the comfortability, but still keeping that racy feel for the seats, because they've added all these little adjustments and stuff as well that makes you think that you might be sitting in a bucket seat, but it's not entirely. It's still comfortable and capable for daily driving, but you've got it looks awesome
to keep your legs in spaces and it doesn't move around. You've got some lumbar supports on the side and everything. It looks great. I mean, it's taking that comfortability to the track basically. It's got 155 miles as standard per hour.
Of course there would be a de-restrict
exactly. But now you can push it up to 180 miles per hour with a tune, and if you just take that off, they will later. They're working or developing the stage to get the 4-wheel drive system in. They're rear-wheel drive at the moment.
Oh yes, that will be a facelift later on.
Yeah, so they might add the BMW X-Drive features and everything to that with rear-wheel.
First time actually that an M3 and an M4
will
gained 4-wheel drive.
4-wheel drive.
Interesting enough, so a car also being released now with the new 4 Series coming out is the M440i. So like the the bit of a lower version, the M3 Lite kind of thing, or M4 Lite. So the M440 X-Drive. So that from the get-go, that is X-Drive. So I don't know, you spoke. So you spoke in an earlier podcast about the M340i Touring.
Yeah.
Is that X-Drive?
It is X-Drive.
So so it's the same principle.
It's the same principle. It's rear-wheel drive bias, and you can control that in driver settings to take all the power to the rear or split it. I think it's a standard. I think it's 60-40.
But I think the 340 and the 440 is standard X-Drive. It's not. So MX Drive is the one you can configure to be rear-wheel drive or four-wheel drive. But I think that's standard X-Drive.
Yeah, I think they said
like the
in the touring. I'm not sure about the 440, but in the 340, they said I think it's adjustable, so you can decide if you want to completely switch it off or.
So it is MX Drive.
Yeah, I think it is because I'm not entirely sure exactly what it is, but I know that it's capable of drifting, and you won't be able to do that with just standard X-Drive because the standard X-Drive takes 40-60, if I'm not mistaken.
So interesting enough,
to the rear wheels bias basically.
The look of the M3 Touring that is still being teased, hasn't been released. We have seen testing images or videos, and the grille is precisely the same than the new M3 and M4.
Yeah,
which is interesting because the new 3 Series doesn't look like that.
Yeah, that's
the 3
thing.
Series and the 4 Series is very different at the moment.
Yeah,
and then you get the 340i. It's still like the normal 3, but then the M3 Touring, again, that's going to be like the M3,
but
which I actually like, because BMW is saying, okay, M3 and M4 and those special models, it's not just scaled up, gradually scaled up models from the normal 3 or 4 Series. This is set apart. This is something new. This is developed by the M division. This is not a normal BMW thing,
it's
which I think at the moment they are doing a bit better than Mercedes, which I wouldn't like to say I'm a Mercedes fanboy, but I think they are doing a good job. Yeah, I think they are doing a good job with the M3 and M4. Your opinion is the M4 looks better. My opinion is the M3 looks better. They really took a chance in terms of design. It really looks good. I really like it. The grille is...
to say I would take the M3 Touring over the M4 though.
Yeah, no, I would go take M3 over all of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the M3, it really looks good to me because they made a wilder design, especially in front. The grille is fine for me and it will grow nice, as you said.
Yes.
So M4 is a bit... It's cool in the front. At the back, it's a bit soft. I don't know, but I think they could have gone a bit more extreme. But I really think they did a good job.
No, I think they've nailed it. The new face of BMW done a great job.
The only thing that was on my social media this week, like 80% of my feed was M3 and M4.
M3 and M4, everyone
social media reach.
No.
Much better than our
Just
podcast.
final things as well. 0 to 60 for the standard will be 4.1 seconds.
Yeah.
And then competition is 3.8, and that also.
And of course, that's without the X-Drive.
That's just rear-wheel drive.
Yeah. So the next segment is quite an interesting one. And shout out to Luke's mom, who actually gave us this idea. But it was a very good idea, and we need to touch on this. Something Luke and I are very passionate about is car modifications. So not necessarily on our own cars, because I don't have my own car. You also don't.
I don't have my own car as well.
But car modifications on other cars, and some work, but some don't. And we want to give you our perspective on what works and what doesn't. But also, we just want to warn you. If you might not be as passionate about cars as we are, we just want to give you insight into what car lovers think. opinions,
certain things.
Yeah, opinions do differ a lot, but certain modifications is a do.
Just don't.
100%, but others
stay away. Like don't even step into that.
Like yeah.
No.
So it's like walking into your girlfriend's house without greeting the parents first. You just don't do that. It's not respectful, So we wanna enlighten you in that kind of side of car modifications, the do's and don'ts. Do's and don'ts. So tell us, what is the first segment we wanted to talk about?
Yeah, I think the first thing to start off is companies that completely nail. They get it absolutely right with doing modifications, but in a good way.
Yeah.
We're thinking
body
of
kits,
ABT,
carbon parts,
Brabus, and AC Schnitzer.
Yes. So
companies for BMW, companies. For Mercedes, for all of those. They have kits that are fitted and ready to be assembled, and they do it properly because it's not overdoing or destroying the look of the car. It's just giving that extra bit. And also the parts
are precision made.
Yeah.
So it fits, it works,
it's
made
it looks
for
good. Specific models, and then it's going to be great when you put this on your car. It's going to look good. Only thing is, and it's a thing that bothers me about the only company is Brabus, that replaces the logo specifically for Mercedes and puts their Brabus B.
But I think that it also depends on what you want to do. If you go fully Brabus conversion, then of course you get the kit and the engine,
everything,
turbo and tune. So I think that's also important. We have to mention.
Yeah.
If you do the body kit and it looks wild, please let it not be a diesel. Please let it not.
We're begging you.
Don't leave it as it is. Like. It's not about just the outside, but the inside. That's what's important.
Inside that counts.
It's the inside that counts. So, you can have fresh clothes, but do you have the personality to go with it? I saw a quote the other day. I saw a quote the other day. Your Instagram feed looking like a Ferrari, but your personality like a City Golf.
There you go. I mean, we'll probably get some crap about guys in Cape Town shouting at us for the City Golf comment, but that's fine, Yeah,
that's also fine. We'll take the punch.
We'll take the punch.
So please just do it right. There are ways to do it right. It might cost a bit more, but at the end of the day,
rather wait longer and do the full package.
Yeah.
But if let's say you've got a C63 or whatever, just stand it in. You just get a body kit. That's fine because the car is powerful already, so that's fine.
Yeah.
Get your body kit. You don't have to get the tune, but if it's going to be like I don't want to say, I don't know. Anyway, the point is just...
But what are the don'ts? I think that's important. Let the people know what are the don'ts. So we've given you the good packages, okay, the kits, but there are certain don'ts.
So let's say you're driving around town and you see a C200 coming past.
Which is a 2-liter.
It's a 2-liter. And this C200 has got some special wheels that is not stock standard from that car. And you keep on looking and then you see at the back... It just says C, but the 200 has been taken off. And what is in its place on the right-hand side?
It's AMG logo.
And then, to add to that, just to make it worse, you've got exhaust pipes that are fitted to a bumper that does absolutely nothing because there's a single exhaust on the left.
No. You get your 2 liters with your quad pipes, and then you only have one puny sound. Like it sounds like some
sound,
asthmatic blowing through a straw. Like
exactly.
Please.
It sounds like that laugh I just did now. It's just
interesting story. So we were on holiday one year. I was a few years younger.
You were on holiday.
I was on holiday. Oh. I do that. Yes.
You do that. I don't do that. I don't have holidays.
So I was on holiday, and we were at the shop, and I saw the C-Class parked there, but it looked mean. Definitely lowered, tinted headlights with like red rings, carbon side,
like skirts
like side skirts. The wheels were the wheels were blacked out. Had some red pin striping. No badges on the back. So I was like, and also quite exhaust pipes, or tips rather.
Yeah, not exhaust.
So I saw this car and I was like, damn, I'm going to wait for this guy to come out because I know this is a C63. I wanted to look in the inside to see if there are any clues that it is the 63. Some things made me wonder a bit, but I was like, no, I'm going to wait. Yeah. And anyway, the guy came out and it was 2 guys. And I told him, listen, please, can you please rev your car? Because I know what raucous, thunderous sound that V8 makes. And the guy said, what do you mean? And I said, no, you have a 6.2 V8 in there. You have to rev it. Like, it's insane sound. He said, you don't rev a 2-liter diesel. And my heart sank.
That's when you're pull out a gun and just shoot the guy.
That is where my rage began.
I mean, you see it so much. I mean, like diesels got AMG and quad pipes, or BMWs as well.
Yes, BMWs is the worst. The M badge is more prominent than Coca-Cola in ShopRite. Okay.
I mean, it's like.
I mean, you get M badges on every single
and then it's
BMW,
not just the
and
M
it's
badge.
not.
It's like taking the M colors, and you get these. It's literally it's these clips that you attach to a grill, and you get a car. It's a diesel, like a 320 diesel or something, and they put these M color clips on the grill in the front, and then it's like blacked out. And
I was driving in my friend's X6. Well, his mother's X6, and it is a 330D. So nothing special about it. And of course, you do get the M line, which is a bit of a different
Sport,
trim.
whatever.
Yeah. So but M Sport, whatever. So there are some modifications similar to what the S line does for Audi, AMG line for Mercedes, and certain parts are a bit different, which is fine. But then on the steering wheel, at the bottom of the steering wheel, there's a small M badge, and I just ask myself, why? What is M about this car? M for massive, M for monstrous.
It's not. It's
you
not,
know.
It's like
M for I don't know. So I was just questioning myself, why would
M
people
probably
do
stands
this?
for the maniac that put the M badge there.
The point of the story being, we want you to back your modifications with the necessary internals. You know, we want your car. If you want a special car, then maybe wait a bit longer, save the money, spend it on something proper. Because you don't want an embarrassment of people, showing your car and being like, what are these M badges? What do they stand for? And you don't want that. If you want to go proper, do it proper. Okay, everyone will appreciate that.
Another important thing is, if you take what we said about, let's say, Brabus and ABT and Schnitzer, you take that, and also taking what we said now about don't put M badges and AMG badges on C classes and diesels. Like, you don't do that. But now you take these two things and you combine it, and something that has been a bugger for the past few years now in South Africa is Ford Rangers, because the amount of kits you can get for a Ford Ranger, it's
something unbelievable.
It's insane. I mean, it's one of the biggest aftermarket part markets, basically. Oh, that's a
aftermarket part markets.
Part markets that you can get. I mean, it's everywhere. We refer to it as, I saw an ad on Gumtree body kits. Yeah. Because it's plastic. I mean,
plastic does it for me.
You put on a 2.2 liter petrol or diesel, whatever, Bucky. You put a diesel. Yeah, you put a hood scoop in. For what? I mean, you've got flares coming out of the back. You've got Ranger Raptor stickers covering the whole car. Your car is so wide, you can't even drive in a normal street, but it's still a 2.2. Like, what's the point? And if you crash, it's just plastic that crumbles up. I mean, there's no backing behind it. It's attached by pins. It's so light.
Yeah. Like, I mean, let's be honest. So the do's of a Ranger body kits. Yes. Okay, so you get your Roush body kit. You get your RTR or R2R road to race body kits. I think they call it the Cobra.
Yeah, that's the I can't remember exactly what it is, but the point is, there's proper kits that make sense.
Yeah.
They tune the engines, or they do engine conversions.
Yeah, you do.
And it's not over the top. I mean, if you want to widen your wheelbase, and you get fenders to cover that. But then you color correct it so it's the same as the rest of the car, because you get people driving around with a white Ford Ranger and then all the decals are black. Got black fenders,
but not like normal black.
No, like plastic.
Plastic on your Polo's dash black.
Exactly, that horrible black. And just take a bit of extra time and just correct the color. Yeah. At least, if you're gonna do it like that.
Yeah.
So if I'm honest, if I buy myself a Ford Ranger, I will probably widen the wheelbase and put fenders on, but I'm not gonna put a Ranger.
But that,
Raptor
of course,
sticker.
is to fit your bigger wheels, your large suspension.
That's the thing. If you do a proper lift, then it would make sense to do that.
Yeah.
And you can, whatever, if you wanna, you get these Ford grills with LED backlighting with a letter Ford. You can do that if you want to. I mean, that's not nothing. But don't put these. You get bumpers that are about this much. It adds this much length to the front of the car, and there's nothing. It's air and plastic rods coming through. That's it. There's nothing. I mean,
you get your plastic side skirt, your plastic fenders, your plastic rear bumper, your plastic grille.
And then you get the worst. Sorry. And I just say the worst is you get these. It's like the only thing I can think of as describing it is a 3-dimensional sticker, because it's a piece of plastic, and then there's like Ford or there's some decals on it, and that literally just it's got double-sided tape, and you just stick that to the side of a car.
Yeah.
I mean, why?
So
rather spend your money on drugs or something instead of doing that to your car.
No, but of course, rather love cars. It's cheaper than drugs.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, on the buckies, of course, this is not a massive problem on Hilux owners.
No, Hilux.
I feel it's still sophisticated. They didn't do it on Amaroks. They didn't do it on. I have seen
Amaroks
Isuzus.
are too expensive.
I have seen Isuzus being modified.
And like even with Nissan like realized there's a market for modifying buckies, and they did that by bringing out the Stealth, which was already modified when it came out of the factory, and it looks great. You don't have to do anything to it, and you can still buy that. Or
Same with the Raptor, the Ranger Raptor.
The Ranger Raptor.
Why not buy
because
the Raptor?
There's a market for that, and they knew that. So
Ford did everything for you.
There's a way to do it, and there's a wrong way to do it. Like this, you can do it subtly, and you can have the same colors going through, and it makes sense. But if you just put everything that you can possibly find on Gumtree on your bucky, it's not going to work.
Yeah, you see, it has to be the whole package. That's what you want to try and convert it to just show you, because it's like a computer too. You can upgrade your RAM, but then necessarily a processor is still slow.
We don't have RAMs in South Africa. We can't import them from the States.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Damn it.
But I'm not talking about the Dodge RAM.
No.
Talking about computer RAM.
But
that's a good joke. I didn't catch it. Yeah.
All right.
So
anyway, but it's just
that's what we want to say. Okay.
The do's
just
and don'ts of car modifications.
But there's one more do's and don'ts of car modifications.
Do's and
don'ts. Those dudes.
Those dudes that modify their cars.
Segment of do's and don'ts we want to just touch on. So, of course, you get you want to have a good stance on your car. Okay, you look at factory cars like the Aventador, like the GTR from Mercedes. You get your SL65 Black Series. Like, it has a good stance. Bit of a widened fenders, lowered wheels.
It's nice and curving over the wheels, and it's flush. It's like the smallest possible
4GT,
gap. 4GT,
very
Nissan GTRs as well.
Looks good. And sometimes you want to lower your car a bit more. Maybe you want to put spaces in to widen your tires.
Yeah.
Especially on buckies also, but other, supercars
exactly.
too. Maybe you want to...
If you're going, let's say, with Liberty Walk or something, then they widen the track.
Yeah.
And it's even wider, but it looks
extreme.
good. It's extreme,
but it's done well.
It's on bags, and the car drops down, and it looks good, and everything makes sense.
And that's, again, the whole package. So it's not just the fenders being widened, it's the spaces being put in, it's air suspension being put in. So it's a bit of, it's the whole thing being changed, and that's fine. Some cars deserve a better stance, and it just looks good. Like, I think also of a lot of Supra body kits they did now, especially with the new Supra.
Yeah.
Widened fenders. It also, like, Liberty Walk kits and it's Rocket Bunny.
I'm not a fan, but it doesn't look bad. Like, I've seen a lot worse. So it's actually quite good.
But then.
The big then.
But then you get your cars.
Imagine my hands are a set of wheels. Keep talking, but just imagine my hands are a set of wheels.
So you get your cars that, you call it negative camber, okay? So basically, Luke will explain how it works, but suspension is taken out, and they put new suspension in, and they basically, the car looks like it looks
like it had a rough night in town, and it's still drunk from the previous
and
evening.
His shoulders just...
Everything is just... he's got no more power left for life. So no, it's just horrible. I mean...
And then the fenders aren't really adjusted, but this is like normal cars, like City Golfs, like Polos, like...
Yeah, City Golfs and Polos particularly.
Like Lexus sedans, and some of it does look cool, but I'm not sure.
And then the first thing that you do, if you're going for that, what they normally do is you take your tires and you get a tire size. And then you get a rim size that's about 6 sizes bigger.
Oh, yes.
And then you fit the tire to that rim. Yeah. So the rim extrudes
the tire's
about
like an
this
elastic
much,
band.
and the tire makes this like loop weird. I'm trying to fit, but I'm not entirely on the right space. And then you have this negative camber of the wheels doing this, and it basically scrapes on the inside of the rim, and the car drives around like that. And I've got no idea actually what the process is of doing, but I can just imagine that you need to lengthen your drive shaft at the back for that section and then support it somehow, because I can't imagine that doing this and having like pressure here is going to last you very long.
No.
If you're doing that.
No,
So I've got no idea what...
Solidly for show.
Yeah, it's for bad show.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes...
If you've got a car with hectic stance, send us a picture. We can do that as the next section. We can roast our viewers' cars.
Oh, that would be very good.
I think we'll
also,
work on
just don't think twice before just taking out your suspension. Because, of course, if you can't afford a suspension, next best option, just take out your suspension.
Cable ties and strap down your coils.
Maybe... I've seen that. Yeah, that's crazy.
You take like 40 cable ties and you
just squish your coils down,
basically.
Which is,
I mean, if it works, it works.
I've seen that one.
You're gonna replace it every year, but that's fine.
That's just brilliant, you know. But please, rather not. Maybe think twice about it. So, I mean, we've got some names for these kind of cars. You know, this is the guy that does this conversion, you know, slams his car.
My uncle knows a guy who does conversions.
Or I'm just a down-to-earth type of guy.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. It's fine.
It's fine. You know, it's
not fine. Stop doing it.
Yeah, please.
Sorry.
It's just
really
those type of guys.
I'm very passionate about these kind of things.
So, guys, with all the love and respect, we love our cars. And I believe some cars should be left as is. I believe some cars should not be modified. You know, like let's take Porsche 911s. Not necessarily a car you get eager to modify. I know, okay, maybe a tune, maybe an exhaust. Yeah, but I'm talking about body modifications. Yeah. So, yeah.
You can maybe fit a wing that's larger than life, but other than that, not really.
Yeah, you know, maybe retrofit a GT2 RS wing on your Boxster. I don't know. But, yeah, so, you know, some cars aren't meant to be modified, really. Some cars are meant to be modified. I'm thinking Nissan GTR.
Yeah, especially GTRs.
I'm thinking Supra. So those cars are, you know, they want to be modified. And you know, manufacturers work with tuner companies to modify those cars in a way that is actually, you know, I want to say safe. You know, it's well built. You know, it's quality. That's fine. Just do it the proper way, you know. Rather take the time, spend the money, do the research. Don't buy something off eBay that you're not sure of because it, you know, isn't special and it's much cheaper, because it might come to your house and being delivered all the way from America or something, and then it just doesn't fit, you know. Rather make sure, and if your car looks crazy on the outside, just make sure the engine in some way matches that look, you know.
You get the other side of the spectrum as well, where you've got sleepers. But sleepers are great because
sleepers are great.
Yeah, they just look plain and simple, and like from the factory, and then you get absolutely wasted by some insane engine modification. But
I mean, here's a quiz for you. Where do you sit when you drive a car?
Where do I sit when I drive a car?
Inside. Do you see the outside?
No.
Do you feel the engine?
Yes.
So that's the kind of thing we want to convert. Yeah.
That's the first thing we'll print on the T-shirt. Where do you sit in a car?
Yeah. Where do you sit in? Actually, that's a new segment.
Where do you sit in a car?
Where do you sit in a car?
We'll figure that out later on.
So,
but yeah, that was do's and don'ts of car.
That was do's and don'ts, and we hope you are inspired.
You are just as patriotic about it as we are.
Yeah. So as soon as I get a car, I will make sure I follow my own advice, which people usually don't do. Not follow my advice, follow their own advice.
2 years time, Martin is driving a Ford Ranger with so many modifications on it, doesn't look like a bucky anymore.
But you can modify your PT Cruiser.
You can, please
because I really don't care.
Yeah.
I really don't
That's
care.
That's one car we don't care about. Yeah.
You know, make sure your first thing is do is put in tinted windows. That's after you sold the car. So first thing you modify with that car is you sell it. You modify the owner's title to not your own.
to be your own title.
Yeah, to not your own car.
Exactly.
But we have exceeded our... No, well, we could have chatted about another segment, but of course, Luke and I are just loving people who love hearing our own voices. But we have quite a Mercedes biased PT Cruiser segment tonight.
It's not a great one. It's just
or this morning. So quite interesting cars, and we actually want to hear what you think about it. You know, comment. What are your thoughts about these cars? But these are Mercedes cars that you maybe probably not have heard of, especially Luke's one. So I'll start off with mine, just because it's not as special as Luke's. So mine is the 2005 SLK 55 AMG. So this is the last. Well, I think it's the last. But anyway, SLK is the small Mercedes sports car, hardtop, retractable roof, convertible, and usually they had like a V6 in or something, 3-liter V6. Quite a nice car. In red, it's a hairdresser's car. But the SLK 55 is quite a special one. It has Mercedes' 5.4 liter V8 engine in, not supercharged. Usually those ones were supercharged. I don't think this one is supercharged though. It may be. I might be wrong. I'll put it up here if I am. But develops not as much horsepower as you think. If I'm right, it's about 300 horsepower. It's not a lot of power, but of course, with its weight, it's very quick. At the time, it was 0.2 seconds slower than SL500 with the equivalent 5.4 in. So, putting a V8 engine in such a small car is a recipe for loudness, raucousness. Oh, so the horsepower is 355 horsepower, which is about 260 kilowatt or something. But makes a raucous sound. It is a bit of a collector's car because, of course, there weren't any V8s from there on in the SLK. I know of one or two people who had one. Of course, no manual, but 7-speed dual clutch, which isn't the best or the most slick gearbox you could find at that time, but still, good car. I like the stupidity of it. Like, let's. I mean, it's quite a heavy car for such a small car because of the retractable roof and the engine. What are your thoughts?
I don't like the SLKs in general. I've never liked them. This whole shape and everything, it feels it's out of proportion. And the rear end is too high compared to the nose of the car and stuff. It's like old styling of Mercedes. That's fine in the SL and those kind of things, but I think in the SLK they just missed it.
It wasn't just a look for you.
No, it's the look is the biggest thing. I don't know. I've driven one. I think it was just the SLK 250, and it's a fun little car, manual. It's just a little fun thing that you can drive, and it's great and stuff. And it's not practical. I don't think so. And I don't like the looks of it.
Yeah.
But it's got a V8.
Well, if you look at the looks of this one, I mean, you could see at the front it's a bit more aggressive. The bonnet is a bit more aggressive. The rear has some fenders in. Like,
there's added extras, but it's still in. Okay.
Yeah, it's a bit of a Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Like, this thing is not going to be specialized to go on the track. This is Sunday drive,
This is a car you can put modifications
irritate your
on.
neighbors on.
We'll give you permission. If you have one, you may modify it.
You may modify it. I'd widen the fenders a bit.
Everything.
But yeah, either way, I think it's a cool car. I did average. Fair enough. Okay, look.
The next car is worse. No, I'm just joking. It's not worse. Well, it is worse.
It is worse.
It is definitely worse.
Let's be honest.
Anyway, this is talking about sleepers a bit earlier as well. This is definitely a sleeper. Mom's minivan with a 6.3 liter V8. It's the Mercedes R36 AMG.
Now the R class there was only 2 generations because it just nobody cared.
Really rare. They only made 200 units of this R36. 63. Sorry, not 36. 63. I don't even know if there was.
I mean, this is probably one of the most rare,
minivans that you
road going Mercedes that
it's
non-concepts.
It looks absolutely horrible.
Hideous.
It's disgusting.
PT Cruiser ugly?
But it's
no, I don't
not
think
the
so.
front. No, the rear maybe, but not the front. I mean, it's 6-seater, 6.2 liter V8, 503 horsepower. Launched in 2007, 630 Newton meters.
That is unbelievable.
But it gets better because I saw one for sale that was modified and tuned.
Oh, yes.
To 700 horsepower, $63,000 worth of extra, including Brembo brakes, suspension lowering.
Yeah, you need brakes for that heavy car.
SLS valve filters, 21-inch monoblock wheels. That's from the old SLs, and that's just
heavy.
It's insane. I mean, great stuff. I'll buy this one. I won't buy the standard one. I'll take this thing.
But how
just
crazy
it's so
is this?
Stupid. No, it's
the
crazy.
fact that they made an R63, it just boggles my mind.
I mean, why? It's like someone was bored. Like, we've done everything. Let's do something ridiculous. You know, I think this might have been the start. If they did, imagine like having this, but as a 4x4 squared.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it makes me think of what was the...
But the look just doesn't suit something crazy.
But that's the point. I mean, it's already so ridiculous. It doesn't make sense. So just make it worse.
Is it rear-wheel drive?
I think so. I don't know.
Well done.
It's just... Yeah.
What can you say?
No, it's dead average. No, it's...
Dead average?
Yeah, no, it's not cool. I'm sorry. It looks horrible, but it's got a great engine. It's just
I'm going to say cool.
No.
Like, if you drive around with one of those, and
you'll never catch
your
me
mates at the pub
I'm sorry.
is like, you know, look at this car, like, oh, what are you driving? And you
know
start
what I'll
it
do?
and they're like,
if I
ooh, hello. Ooh, hello. Look at that one.
if I get a car like this, I'll probably take the body off and put like some old E-Class or 230 something body, but like old, like from the 80s or 70s, and just slap it on this just because it looks so bad.
Yeah, I'll probably put a wing on. No, I'd put a roof box on.
No, I'll put a wing.
That would be cool.
A wing and then wide body.
I'd make it the ultimate family car. Roof box on.
Side skirts, wing, widen the wheelbase.
Make sure there's a tow bar at the back so that I can...
Yeah, I think this one had a supercharger or something as well.
But I think... Oh, wow, that thing probably... No. So this is
this is the one... Sorry, this is the one that was for sale that I saw now.
Just the modified supercharger.
Vicetech Engineering Stage 2 supercharger.
Yeah, no, so that's
200 brake horsepower extra, but you can do that as well. This is also a car you can modify. Both the Peter Cruiser segment cars you can modify.
This would be a weekend car.
Weekend car.
You can even make it a fun track car, strip the seats out the back, strip everything.
And you can go and compete with a new Giulia Quadrifoglio GTA M.
Imagine the drifting you can do with that car.
This is going to be...
I mean, I'd really like to see that. So if any one of you have the privilege to have one of those cars, hit us up.
R63, let us know, yeah.
Please show us a video of you drifting it, because that would be insane.
That would be the best thing.
That concludes our 10th episode. Yeah. We have made it. A 10th of a century. Well done. Well done. I'm very proud of us. But too many more to come.
Yes.
This won't be the last to see of us.
Thank you guys for sticking with us through all this nonsense that we're talking about.
If you want to see something chatted about on this episode, on our episodes, if you want to let us do a segment, if you want us to rate your car,
send us a picture.
Comment.
Leave us a comment.
On Instagram, on our social media, we are present, we are working. We are trying to make it as, involving as and interactive as possible. That is a good word. But, from me and Luke, I hope you have a good one. Rather love cars than drugs. Because why? Because loving cars is...
And don't modify cars just because there's an ad on Country for it.
Yeah. Just because you can, not a good idea.
No.
Okay. Rather love cars because it's cheaper than drugs. Okay.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, guys.
Enjoy.
Have a good one.